I'm sure if you ask them, the majority of people wouldn't think snooker balls are magnetic, although they've probably never put a snooker ball near a magnet that's quite this powerful. Welcome back, and it's your first time watching one of our videos, and it's fantastic to have you here. This powerful magnet I'm using is a neodymium fishing magnet, but what's it actually for? It's used to recover metallic things like this, so to show how it works we need to go on the roof, where I warn you it's a bit windy. So if I wanted to retrieve the shovel, even if it was underwater, I could just lower this down and pull it up. The magnet deals with a spade easily, as it can lift up to 230 kilograms, that's more than the weight of a panda bear. But it's not just its strength that we're interested in. We need something that has an effect on metal objects from as far away as possible. This means we'll be able to move things without having to get the magnet too close. Now there's obviously going to be all types of tricks we can play with this thing, but the real question is, why do we need such a powerful magnet? If snooker balls were made out of heavy steel like these giant ball bearings, you'd probably find that regular magnets stuck to them quite easily. And if you've got a group of these magnets together, you could just about encourage the balls to move along. Now there are a lot of reasons that snooker balls aren't made out of steel. Even though these balls are roughly the same size, this ball bearing is 5 times heavier than the snooker ball. And if you actually try to play a shot with it, it would probably break your cue. Well, if you played a shot with any power, it definitely would anyway, as well as their shiny surfaces having far less grip than regular balls, so they don't really react the same. You can't play the balls below centre, or else you just get a miscue, and I think bashing into each other hard would just make them deform over time. The fact that steel is incredibly magnetic is probably the last reason that we don't use them to make billiard balls, and a regular magnet just won't stick to a normal billiard ball like this cue ball, for example. So to move the regular balls around, we're going to need this super powerful magnet. Now all of that seems to make sense until I remind you of what I told you earlier. Most people assume that snooker balls aren't magnetic, and there's a reason for that. Because no matter how powerful this magnet is, snooker balls won't actually stick to it, because snooker balls aren't magnetic, no matter how powerful this magnet is. There's no trickery going on here. This is an actual cue ball, and it actually is being attracted by this super powerful magnet. But the big question is why? Why make the cue ball different to the rest of the balls on the table? And why does it need to be made in such a way that makes it attracted to magnets? And the answer to that is there's no need whatsoever to have a small steel layer inside the cue ball that will be attracted by a super powerful magnet. So it doesn't. This specific cue ball isn't metallic and doesn't have any traces of metal anywhere inside it. But this cue ball does. So what exactly makes this cue ball different, and why is it called SAM? Is this some form of acronym for some futuristic technology? No, rather boringly, SAM is just the manufacturer. When you put these two balls side by side, it becomes obvious that they're not the same. Not only is the ball that we're calling SAM attracted to magnets, it's also a significant amount bigger than the normal snooker cue ball. And it's magnetic because it's designed for a very specific type of pool table. You see, pool tables vary depending on where you live. Now, for someone like Scott from Leicester in the UK, when he thinks of having a game of pool, he probably thinks about having it on a table like this. This is a standard 7-foot table that you'll find in most pubs and clubs in the UK, but what we need to know about is what happens when the balls are potted. As they head for the ball return, they run across this little hole. All the balls are too big to fit through the hole except the cue ball, which in UK pool is a little bit smaller, which means it runs away in the opposite direction. This allows the owners of the table to charge per game, though the downside is it feels a little bit weird to play with a smaller cue ball. Now obviously in snooker this wouldn't be so easy to do, because when I pot this black I need it to come back right now But at the end of the game, keeping all the coloured balls down would be far too complicated a system to work out, so nobody actually bothers. And that's why, thankfully, you never see coin-operated snooker tables. And the other positive of this is all the balls in snooker can be exactly the same size and weight. But what about American pool tables? Because American pool tables have cue balls that are exactly the same size as the rest of the balls. But how would somebody like Wombat from Hannibal, Missouri get the cue ball back when playing pool on an American pool table? And as you've no doubt already guessed by now, an American pool table solves a problem by using a really powerful magnet like this one to attract the cue ball, but no other ball. This is why for coin-operated American pool tables, the cue ball has a metallic layer. Instead of following the rest of the balls, the high-powered magnet pulls it to one side and down a separate chute. Although the system is a little bit more complicated, it does mean all the balls can be the same size and weight. But forget what it's for, it does mean we're able to do silly little tricks like this. All I need to do is get the cue ball close enough to the magnet and it will completely change its direction. Which is okay, I guess, but there's got to be more you can do with a powerful magnet. And as it turns out, with a little bit of imagination, there is. It can help you swerve around balls and escape from snookers. Which is good, but can it help you pop balls off a cushion? So I'm going to use the magnetic field here to help me pop the yellow. That's brilliant. I like this. Normally if you spin the cue ball into the cushion at a low angle, it'll almost run along it, but it'll never quite do it. But when you place the magnet over the cushion and spin the cue ball into it, it'll run along the cushion with all the side spin you put on it. And the thing I like about this is it'll even do it from quite a long way out. These little magnets are made from the same material as the big one, so I thought it'd be fun to see how many the cue ball picked up, but unfortunately it didn't quite work as well as I wanted it to. So I decided to make the cue ball hug the cushion instead. So off the cushion and then along the rail. Not sure this is going to work, but let's give it a go anyway. Ho ho! Playing these shots is actually quite exciting because you don't expect the cue ball to go in the direction it's going in. Will it generate more screw back? Don't know if that actually did anything. Oh my god, I've got an idea. If I unbolt the hook from the magnet, then there should be nothing stopping it running along the table as if it was a wheel. And if I hit it along with my cue, it could open up a whole new range of yet unthought of trick shots. So I think there's a trick shot you can play with this. Now I'm not talking about rolling it all the way down the cushion to physically pot a ball, even though that would be quite good. You could also roll it into a pocket and make it pull Sam in behind it, but I think there's something better we can do. So I think this is going to be the first shot ever where I'm going to pop the black without either hitting the black or the cue ball or anything else actually. I'm just going to knock this through the gap. Look at that! You do need to hit this on the perfect line at exactly the right speed, but look what happens. I'm calling it the invisible man shot, but I think there's another shot we can play into this pocket that's nowhere near as safe. How about playing full-on air shots? Oh, this is a terrible idea. Okay, this is a really, really bad idea. If it goes wrong, it could actually break my table. Yes! Turns out you can't cheat at snooker by using a super powerful magnet. However, you could probably cheat on a coin-operated pool table by using a ball like Sam. Unfortunately, you'd have to hold this big magnet very close to the table and it'd be incredibly obvious what you were doing, so it'd be far easier just to learn better pool skills. Or even better yet, learning to improve your snooker skills by increasing the accuracy of the shots you play, or find out what you need to do to be able to play shots with a large amount of spin. These things can take time and aren't always easy to learn. Though fortunately, if you want to make that process as easy as possible, you're already in the right place. These videos can help you both dramatically improve your aim and work out exactly what you need to do to be able to play shots with side spin. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.
Now obviously